his speech is Your Dream. And he is doing the Get to the Point speech, which is project number 3. And his objectives are select a speech topic and determine its general and specific purposes, organize the speech in a manner that best achieves those purposes, ensure the beginning, body, and conclusion reinforce the purposes, project sincerity and conviction and control any nervousness you may feel. Strive not to use notes. 5 to 7 minutes. So I'd like to introduce now Joe Pardo, Your Dream.
Actually, that intro actually made me more nervous than I was than before, because I want to make sure I hit all of those points or topics that you're mentioning that I need to hit. So my topic, my speech is Your Dream. Today I want to talk about what it is that you wanted to be when you grew up, as everybody here is grown up at this point, at least except for maybe me. But that is such an important topic that I've learned through doing my own show, my own podcast, every single week, interviewing people who live their dreams from all around the world. So what I'd like to ask is, who here had a dream when they were a child, or something they wanted to be when they grew up? If you could raise your hand. A lefty, right?
Yeah.
All right. No, you don't want to assimilate. You gotta let that creativity flow. Yeah, see? He's got it. All right. So, how many of you are doing what you expected to be doing when you were young? Or young being, say, 7 to 13. Because sometimes our dreams change and we grow up and we learn new things and we experience new things and that we learn what we don't like. How many of us are doing what we wanted to be doing from a child? None of us. That is quite sad. Would somebody be willing to volunteer what they wanted to be when they grew up? Bob.
I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to fly a pilot.
Okay, so why did you want to be a pilot?
Because my dad was a pilot in World War II.
Okay, so you enjoyed flying, I assume?
Well, I grew up on the flight path at Philadelphia International Airport. And to this day, they take off and they land, they come right over the house. And I was fascinated as a kid. And
what actually were you fascinated with?
I just thought it would be so cool to fly, just the freedom of it.
Well, you ended up in the military, though.
I ended up one day in Air Force ROTC. That's where I started. Wearing these. They were black horn rim glasses at the time. Very fashionable in that era. And I listened to the instructor tell us the career as an Air Force officer, and that to be a pilot you had to have 20/20 uncorrected vision.
What?
There was no such thing as LASIK surgery.
Yeah, that's a problem with
And
being a pilot.
I was devastated, and I literally got up from my chair and walked across the street and knocked on the Army ROTC door and said, "Hey, can I come in?" And that's where I started my Army ROTC career.
So, to me, when we talk about what it is that we want to do as a child, usually there's a deeper reason for that. Now, you might not have really thought about what that reason is, but when we evaluate deep down, like on a cellular level, of why we wanted to be that particular thing, that particular in that industry, or doing that thing that we admire, what ends up happening is, even though we grow up, life happens, we change course, we redirect. But as I've found, almost maybe 70 to 90% of the people that I've interviewed and that I've talked to and walked through the process on a deeper level than I can do right here in a 5 to 7 minute speech, what I find is that the reason that we wanted to be that particular thing when we grew up has carried on with us subconsciously to the things that we do today. So if I had to guess, being a pilot, I mean, other than just because of your dad, maybe the excitement, maybe, because even going into the Army still brought in excitement to you. I mean, you were so ready and willing to go and help. Maybe it was that reason of, I want to help people. I want to travel, I want to help people, I want to see things that most people never get to see. And in some cases, they're not good things. But that's the burden that you carry in that industry, niche, that field. So my point is that when we think about what it is that we wanted to be when we grew up, it's the very basis of that we take with us for the rest of our lives. In my example, I wanted to be a child psychologist, and then I wanted to be a DJ. Well, I didn't like school very much, and 10 years in school was not going to pan out for me. Maybe now that I'm older and could handle that. But what's happened is now I actually go and I speak to kids. But the reason I wanted to go and be a child psychologist was to help kids going through divorce like me. When I was 6 years old. 4 years later, that's when I found out that I was, how are we doing with the time there?
You're good.
Oh, okay, because it fell over. The reason is, with DJing, I enjoyed building of the crowd, making the crowd move, seeing how people's reactions were to music. Little did I know that those two things would come together just a little over 10 years later, down the line, was getting to speak to children, helping them figure out what it is that their dreams are, what their goals are, what their desires are, what opportunities they should take, because not every opportunity is the perfect opportunity for us to, venture into. It can be difficult sometimes to make that decision. So no, I'm not a child psychologist. I DJ, but I'm not a DJ professionally. But I take those skills and I take those passions and I take them every time I go and I talk. So my point is I want you all to go home tonight, and when you're driving home, to think about what it is that you wanted to be as a child. What was it that really made you fascinated about that? Was it magic? Was it something that just blew your mind when you were a child, that you were like, I want to be this? But then we deviated. But I bet you if you look at what you do now, there's roots in it from when you were a kid. There's roots from your past in what you do now, and you carry it. Now, if you're unhappy with what you do now, that's okay. You can make those changes because we still are alive, we're still here, and there's still ways to take the 20% that makes us happy about what we do and turn it into the 80% of, 80% of the 100% that we do, and make more happiness. And you can make that happen. You just have to be willing to make those sacrifices that go along with it. So go home and think about the creativity that you had as a child that made you want to be what you are today. Thank you.